It started on a Tuesday. Lisa, a high school coach, had been home with Ava for 9 weeks when the family's Great Pyrenees, began to change. Not dramatically, not in a way that made anyone reach for the phone immediately or say something is wrong out loud. Just quietly, the way that real problems begin, at the edge of ordinary life, in a place where nobody is paying close attention. The Great Pyrenees kept nudging Ryan's hand away from the stove. That was how it started. Lisa noticed it on the third day. By the fifth day, Ryan had noticed it too. They talked about it over dinner, while Ava slept in the next room, and they came to a reasonable conclusion. The trainer they consulted said it was dominance behavior. It made sense. It fit the pattern. They were not careless people. They were careful, attentive parents who had read the parenting books and knew when to call the pediatrician and when to wait. They waited. On the 8th day, the behavior escalated. What had been intermittent became constant. The Great Pyrenees stopped sleeping through the night. Lisa would find she's standing in the hallway at 2 in the morning, not pacing, not whining, just standing, facing Ava's door. Still, waiting for something that Lisa could not identify. She told Ryan she was starting to feel uneasy. He said he understood, but that they should give it another few days. On the 10th night, the Great Pyrenees did something it had never done before, not once in the years they had owned She. She pressed her entire weight against Ava's bedroom door from the inside. When Lisa opened the door at 3 a.m., she found the animal standing over Ava's small form, not touching, just positioned, deliberate, certain. Lisa stood in the doorway for 4 seconds. What she saw made her reach for her phone before she had fully processed what she was looking at. The details will not be repeated here because they belong to the family and to Ava's medical file. What matters is that emergency services arrived within 9 minutes. What matters is that the on-call physician later told Lisa, standing in a hospital corridor while monitors beeped steadily from the room behind her, that the nurse who treated Ava said she had seen 3 cases like this in her career, and in 2 of them, nobody had listened to the animal in time. The doctor said one more thing. She said, "Whatever your animal was doing, it was right." The cause turned out to be infant respiratory distress from RSV. Silent, invisible to any human sense. The kind of thing that builds without announcement and resolves without mercy if nothing intervenes. The Great Pyrenees had been detecting it, not learning it, not being trained for it, simply detecting it. The way animals detect things that exist beneath the threshold of human awareness, in the chemical signature of breath, in the microvibrations of a building, in the frequencies of air that carry information we have given up the ability to read. Lisa sat in the hospital for 6 hours. She sat with her hands in her lap and thought about the 9 days she had watched the Great Pyrenees behave strangely and had found a reasonable explanation every single time. She thought about the trainer they consulted said it was dominance behavior. She thought about how certain she had been. She had been wrong. Ryan arrived at the hospital at 4 a.m. They didn't talk much. They sat together in the corridor and watched the clock and waited for the physician to come back out and give them news they could carry home. The news was good. Ava recovered fully. The treatment was straightforward once the cause was identified. The attending pediatrician used the word fortunate twice in a single sentence, which is not something physicians do unless they mean it. When they brought Ava home 3 days later, the Great Pyrenees was waiting at the front door. Not excited, not performative, just there, in the way that a thing is there when it has been waiting because it knew to wait. Lisa knelt on the floor. She put her arms around the animal's neck. She didn't say anything out loud. Some things don't need to be said. The Great Pyrenees has slept in Ava's room every night since. Lisa checks in each morning and finds them in the same configuration, the animal positioned at the foot of the small bed, watching the door, doing what animals do when they have accepted the job of watching over someone who cannot watch over themselves. If you have ever dismissed a pet's strange behavior as anxiety or jealousy or stress, stop. Watch it more carefully. Ask a different question. The answer you find might be one you needed a long time before you thought to look for it. The moment of recognition, when the wrong belief collapses and the truth takes its place, is not a comfortable moment. It is not the warm feeling that the videos suggest. It is closer to vertigo. The floor that was solid becomes the thing you were wrong about, and you have to find your footing all over again. But this family found it. They found it because they still had time. They still had each other, and they still had the animal who had never once wavered in what it was trying to say. Some messages take 10 days to receive. This one arrived just in time.